Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition, it's Win, Lose, or Draw, brought to us by High Tech Expressions. Based off the game show of the same name, Win, Lose, or Draw, you can play single player or against a friend. I'll be playing single player for this little run of the game and just play through it one time. My goal is to get 600 points before the end of the game, which is about as much as you can end up getting within that single game. I'll change up the settings. Team 2, take the none, just because there is no AI. It would just be a human opponent that I'm not playing as. So here we go, you get your category, and then it'll start drawing, and you have to enter it in. There's only a handful of options, so I've seen them all at least a few times at this point. Once something gets going, which right now I can tell it's a fishing pole. So I'm going to start typing fishing. The thing is, though, you don't have to fully type some of the words. Some of the words you can take a shortcut on because of, like, I guess it counting for misspelling. But I can just put fish in, and that counts as fishing. I don't have to put G. Now, when you're playing with a friend, you can also have the drawing be you instead of having it automatically drawn, which is kind of fun as well. Next up is the silver screen. This is a pretty easy one once it gets going. I didn't get it at first, but I've seen it a couple of times. It's good, bad, and the ugly. Now, normally what you can do is just enter each word individually, and it'll like pop up there, and then you type the next word, and it'll pop up where it's supposed to, so you do word by word. But you can actually do it all as one giant word. Good, bad, ugly is whatever word that would be. Try to pronounce that. As one big thing, and it counts as the good, the bad, and the ugly without having to type in all those extra words. The next picture is potluck, so it's just kind of random, I guess. Now this one, what they do is they point to the forehead. I just want to make sure that the arrow was there. And then it's the feet. So it's head to toe. But if you just put head toes, that counts as well. For our next category that we're going to be answering here, it's the silver screen once again, so another movie title that we're going to be putting in. This time around, it's The Sword and the Stone. We're just going to put one big word as swordstone, and that'll be enough to count it as Sword in the Stone. The great movie Swordstone. We have one more clue to guess before we end up going to the speed round, which is the final round of the game. Our subject is couch potatoes. This one's a little bit tricky. It's the edge of night, which I did not get the first time I actually did this. I got it wrong. But once I found out what it was, I always remembered seeing the edge pointed out and the moon and the edge of night. So we'll put edge night. And we get our points for that one. And now we're going to go into the speed round, where you have a time limit, and your goal is to get as many of them correctly within the time limit as you can. This one is just head. Similar to that one we had earlier with the forehead, but being pointed at, but this one's just head. Next up is roots. It's a big tree, but the arrow is going to be pointing at the roots at the bottom once it finally gets done drawing, but it takes quite a while, so it's best to know some of the ones as quick as you can, that way you can get the most amount of points. This is bolt. I messed up a bunch and put like screw, put nut before, but it's bolt is the answer for it. The next one is honey. It's a big old honey pot. I can just put honey though, and that counts. We just need one more, which we end up getting a pretty easy one, ball, thankfully. But that puts us over the 600th score, which is what I was going for. So successful game of win, lose, or draw. The game's not the most exciting thing for sure, but as a two-player game, it can be a little bit of fun. High-Tech Expressions usually isn't the greatest as far as their games that they ended up putting out, so not a big fan usually when I see their logo on a game box, but this one isn't too awful. After the game finishes up, it goes back to the title screen where you can start things all over again. But with that, that will wrap up this episode of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.